You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series, and my name is Andrew Mackay-Smith. The interview subject you've tuned in to hear from, it's Dave Chavarri. Dave is in Terror Universal and Il Nino currently, and the reason for the conversation is to promote his appearances in Il Nino and Terror Universal when they tour Australia in August of 2017. We talk about a whole bunch of other stuff though, because Dave has a storied history performing in heavy metal bands. Hope you enjoy this one. Let's get to it. You are one very interesting bloke. You have performed in a ton of bands, notably Soulfly, Propane, M.O.D, Marauder, ex-Lȧȧz, Rockit, Il Nino, and now Terror Universal. You are a noted producer and engineer, a bit like your Il Nino bandmate and great bloke, Aru Luster. But do tell me about your new project, which is Terror Universal.
Things are great. We are absolutely stoked to come back to Australia since we were there in 2015 on Soundwave Festival. Just looking very much forward to it. We are putting the final touches on our debut full-length as we speak. We are in the mixing stage at the moment. And we just signed a worldwide deal with Minus Head Records from California. And we're pumped. You know, we're waiting to get back to our roots. I mean, the Australian people, the Australian audience have become pretty much one with Terror Universal since the first day we came out there. And our EP Reign of Terror came out on Sony, and in Australia, Aussie fans seem to pick the band up and have a good liking to the band, and we are more beyond grateful and thankful that they have given us the opportunity to come and rage with them down under.
Wonderful, mate. And how do you think you'll go in terms of stamina and conserving your energy? As I understand, you're going to be pulling double duty on the Australian tour, since you'll be part of Terror Universal and also performing in Il Nino.
I'm ready to go, man. I've done it before. We did a European tour about 10 months ago where we did 30 shows in Europe. You know, I had full double duty with Terror Universal and El Nino then, which El Nino, the guys in El Nino were amazing to allow Terror Universal to support them in Europe. And, you know, we're all family, and, you know, it was fine then. And I'm ready. I'm all prepared and ready to rock right now. We're in the middle of an American tour with Terror Universal that finishes on Friday. And then we have one day off, and then we're flying to Perth to begin the tour with Terror Universal and El Nino.
Wonderful, mate.
But I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to fucking rage.
The fans are definitely ready to receive you, that's for sure. It's the only reason I ask, mate, is both bands are high energy, that's for sure, high octane sort of stuff, and I assume it takes a lot of energy out of you to do it. But, mate, you're a fit bloke, so no doubt you're more than up to the task, and fans can expect a lot of heavy hitting.
Let me tell you, I'm going to be pumping fucking espresso coffees like there's no tomorrow. That's you know, I don't drink alcohol or do any drugs or smoke cigarettes, but I tell you what, I fucking drink about 3-4 coffees a day. Mandatorily, that's my religion practically.
Man, I know the feeling, don't worry. I think I'm in the same boat. And, mate, talking about...
You're a coffee head too, huh?
Oh man, I am big time. Actually, I'm yet to have mine this morning. It's 10 o'clock over here in the morning, and I it's not like I woke up, you know, recent, like, you know.
Well, come find me at one of the shows, and I'll buy you the strongest Latin American coffee that I can get my hands on.
Yes.
And fucking make you electrified.
Well, that's awesome, mate. Yeah. Hey, I want to ask you about your Latin American roots, if that's okay, because you were born in Peru, but you've lived in the USA since you're 11 years of age, I understand. How often do you go back to Lima, and what are your memories of growing up in Peru?
You know, Lima was absolutely a beautiful place. Came to the United States because my dad had found work in America, so we moved to the United States when I got here around 10 years old, about to be 11, you're correct. And I have gone back. We just did a huge festival with Papa Roach and a bunch of huge bands, and it was pretty amazing to come back. I mean, Peru is just a lot more modern, and everything seems revitalized, and Just the economy seems to be much better, especially since a lot of people now. The new thing in Peru, everyone's going to Machu Picchu, and the tourist draw has grown by like 700, 800%. It's absolutely fucking insane. There's so many people flocking to check out. It's one of the wonders of the world, and it's pretty cool. It was great to go back and see family and have them see me play. I played a stadium with El Nino in front of 30,000 people. So it was really cool to come back and see the cousins and my aunts and stuff like that, be there with me just to hang out and see them again after many years. It's a cool feeling, being raised with somebody and seeing them when you're a little kid, and then you're a grown man and you're playing a stadium in front of 30,000 people. It makes you feel kind of proud, like you've done something right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure they're very proud of you as well, mate. Actually, for you to be able to achieve that.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm blessed and I'm thankful and I'm definitely humbled by the amount of response that we have been getting. Both with El Nino with Terror Universal. Terror Universal is moving up the ranks rather quickly. The band played 3 continents and had been to Europe twice, America twice, all before even putting out our first EP without a record label and no support whatsoever. And, we're fucking super pumped. And now things are just moving rather quickly. We signed a deal with Minus Head Records, and this tour is in the works. We're about to announce 2 huge tours next week for Terror Universal, and in support of the new record, Make Them Bleed, which is out on Friday, October 13th, worldwide.
Sweet. Okay, mate. Yeah, got that about sums it up, doesn't it? And something that I wanted to ask you, and I've planned to ask this question actually because I don't know what it is, but I feel as though the average Australian has more in common with the average South and Central American, but we're more often compared to the average European or American. I've got mates in Australia from Brazil, Chile and Mexico living in Australia, and I had a bit of a laugh about this same subject with the great Max Cavalera not too long ago. But what's your take on Australia with your very unique perspective as a South American who is a North American resident? How do you see Australians?
I'll tell you something. It's so funny that you actually bring this up because I'm married to an Australian. My wife is Australian.
There you go.
And I've been married. We're married 10 years. My wife's from Queensland. She's originally from Victoria.
You me? Okay, right.
Yeah. And she's And we met while touring, and we became really good friends. A couple of years after we met, we got together, and we had our first daughter, Tiana. My wife wanted to have our daughter in Australia because she wanted her mother there. Mm-hmm. So my daughter is Australian also. My daughter was born in Australia. She has dual residency. She's American and Australian. And back to the connection between Australians and South Americans and Latin Americans. It's crazy because when we go to Latin America, I go to Latin America, we see a lot of products like food that, companies that are like, you guys call it Milo, we call it Milo in Latin America. And you guys have so many different brands that are the same brands that we had over there, Yeah. It's funny also, like at summertime it's in December. So I've always had Christmas during the summer. That's not what it's like in America. Christmas in winter, And you guys have summer, you have summer, Christmas in summer, I've spent a couple of Christmases with my wife's parents in Australia, in the Gulf Coast, and in Brisbane, and it's just so similar. A lot of the attitudes are very similar, one to the other, And I don't know if we have a special connection or something going on. I'll give you another crazy connection. The drummer for Stone Sour, you know who he is?
Yes, yeah.
Drummer, yeah. He's married to an Australian, and he's Ecuadorian from South America. He's married to an Australian. He's a dear good, huh?
Yeah, gosh, okay, mate. Yeah, no, that's very interesting, isn't it? So it sort of proves the point in one way, doesn't it? Because there are a lot of, on the Gold Coast in particular, there are a ton of Brazilians. And I've got a lot of mates, as I say, got a mate who's from Mexico who lives in Byron Bay. I think what it is my take on it would be that we all grew up under a hot sun. And states such as Queensland, Western Australia, and in the Northern Territory, we prioritise lifestyle, which is, I think, the same for people in South America. And we also prioritise friendship and a good time over material possessions for the most part.
Yes, I agree. I couldn't agree more. But, yeah, I mean, and same thing, you know, Australian fans are so passionate about metal music. They're actually fucking crazy about it, you know, and same thing with Latin American fans. They're fucking out of their mind about metal music. They just, you know, it's like one big happy family. We're all there to celebrate a great night, you know, and we all go fucking crazy together. It's just an amazing opportunity to be able to play both Australia and Latin America with both bands and be able to rage out this way.
Yeah, fantastic, man. No, great response. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, as I say, it does confirm something that I've suspected for some time, and the more people that I talk to who originated from South and Central America, it does confirm it. It's just something that I've noticed. I think as globalization becomes more of a thing, there's going to be a lot more synchronicity between South America and Australia. It's certainly a trading bloc that there's a lot to take advantage of. You mentioned there that there is a lot of products in South America and Central America potentially that do come or originate from Australia or that we share. Whether it be Milo or whatever else it might be. But I think we're also getting cars in Australia that are built in Brazil. Yeah. So yeah. Oh well.
Mate, really? That's fucking cool.
I think so, yeah. I think there's been I don't know whether it's a new trade agreement that's been signed, but I think some of the V-dubs are now made in, VWs I'm talking about, sorry, that are made in Brazil now land in Australia. So, yeah, mate, it's definitely happening.
I'll tell you what, Australia has become my second home, not only because I'm married to an Australian, but, you know, the strength, our biggest market for Terror Universal at the moment is definitely Australia, you know. We came out with a bang coming out and doing Soundwave 2015 and putting out the Reign of Terror EP on Sony, you know, and now getting ready for the LP, for the full length. We're pumped, man. We actually can't wait to fucking come to Australia, and we're going to be playing a couple of new songs from the record, you know, to Make Them Bleed, as well as some of the older tunes that everybody's used to, and getting ready to reach with our bros in El Nino. El Nino's also getting ready for a massive tour.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be in the crowd for well, obviously for both because it's at the same show. But mate, it'd be cool to catch up and have a beer with you, or coffee, I should say. Gosh, you know, we mentioned that at the beginning of the podcast, mate. It'd be great to have a coffee with you because I'm already going to have a beer with the Roo if I can manage to find him in the morass of all of the fans that are around him. So we should try and do that.
Awesome, of course.
Mate, I'll just do a time check. How much time have I got left?
Whatever time you need, man. I'm here.
Okay, wonderful, cool. You are a drummer. You're a bloody good drummer, and you deploy a lot more than the standard blast beat and polyrhythm. How did you get into drumming, and what keeps you inspired?
You know, I was actually a bass player when I started, and I was playing bass in this shitty band. And we used to rehearse at a place you paid by the hour. And since we were paying by the hour one time, I was 16. We were jamming, and my drummer decided not to show up and kind of fucked us over. And me and my guitar player were looking at each other like, my guitar player, me and my singer were like, how the fuck can we rehearse without a drummer? How can we actually play without a drummer? And we tried to call him, you know, and he's nowhere to be found. And my guitar player said, hey, why don't you play drums? And I was like, play drums? But yeah, at least we could play and sing guitar with a drummer than just two bass players, a bass player, guitar player, and a drummer. And a singer, sorry. And I started playing drums that day. And like guitar players like stopped and said, man, you play better drums than our drummer. And I was like, that's kind of fucking weird. I've never played drums in my life, you know?
Jesus, yeah, it must have been
So
in
it's
you.
kind of like part for the course.
Yeah.
And it was just, I was meant to be, man. And I started rehearsing, and then I got signed with one of my first bands when I was 17 years old. I was in high school still, called Gothic Slam. It was kind of like power metal, kind of like Anthrax, early Metallica,
Yeah.
like Kill 'Em All Metallica. And
Nice.
we got signed to Sony, actually. But it wasn't Sony at the time, it was Epic at the time. And we were signed, we had peers that were on the same label. With like, there was Suicidal Tendencies, Creator, a bunch of metal bands. And that's what took off. And after that, I started rehearsing, and I got signed with that band, and then I joined Lāās Rockit with 2 records from the Bay Area. I moved to Berkeley, California. Then I left Lāās Rockit, and I joined M.O.D, Method of Destruction, for 4 records, living in New York. Then after Method of Destruction, I joined Propane, and I joined them for 2.5 years, and did a studio record and a live record with them. And after that, I was asked by Mikey from Soulfly to basically come and jam with them, and then I ended up joining the band and going out on tour with them, with Iron Maiden, and another tour headlining with Hatebreed. A couple of tours back and back, and then I played on the Nativity in Black, the Black Sabbath tribute, on that one track.
What track was that?
With Toby Wright, Under the Sun.
I've got that album. Yeah.
Under the Sun. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
I played on that track. It's Going to Phoenix, and Toby Wright, who had just finished doing the Korn record. And yeah, a couple of records just basically produced that track, and he was fucking great to work with, and the song kicked total ass. And then after that, I was in that for a little bit, and I already, before I started playing with Soulfly, had started Il Nino under a different name, under El Nino instead of Il Nino, and we're already in the works of getting our demo finalized. But then I stopped doing my tracks because I ended up playing with Soulfly. But then when I came home from Soulfly, I got the itch again to continue with Il Nino, and we changed the name to Il Nino, and I brought it to Word on the Records for A&R, Mike Gitter, and we were signed 2 weeks after that. So it was pretty crazy. Came home from Soulfly, finished the demo. 2 weeks later, we're signing a deal with Word on the Records. It was what started catapulted Il Nino's career.
Mate,
17 years now.
You've been very successful. I need to mention at this point clearly, because there's this cliche that it's very hard in the music industry, but just through your response then, mate, I've just heard that you've been in all of these wonderful bands. You're in Soulfly, and then you've finished working with Soulfly, or come off the road from Soulfly, started the magnificent Il Nino. Now you've got this fantastic other project, Terror Universal. What do you put that down to? Is it just a positive mindset that you carry, or have you got if you can be as non-modest as you want in this response, is it just the fact that you're a good business person and your way around the industry?
I think everything feeds from each other. I think that I'm very passionate about music, and I'm very passionate about the dance that I play. And I take it very seriously. It's not a hobby for me. It's a way of life. Playing drums and being in a band and playing music is a way of life for me. It's not something that I do just to do. And I think that's the way that you approach it. You approach it like your business, you approach it like your job, you approach it like your dream, and like your fantasy, all in one. I think that you'll have much more success than if you're just dabbling in it to try to party, or because you're trying to pick up chicks, or whatever you're doing at a young age. I've always been very serious about what I did with music. I was always in love with music. I was always in love of playing music, and it was not drinking, not doing drugs or anything. I mean, this is my outlet. I look forward to playing drums once a week on the weekends when I got together with local bands. Then I I fell in love with being on the road, and now I've been on the road for 32 years, and
Yes.
that's the crazy thing. It's been a positive roller coaster of just a lot of work, but yeah, I love what I do for a living. I mean, I could never have a better job than this, even when you're tired, even when you're exhausted, and you've had a bad situation. This pulls you out of that bad situation and makes you look at things in a different light, because you have these people appreciating what you're doing, and it's just a love of music that keeps me focused and still doing it 32 years in.
Cool, mate. And have you ever thought about going back and reissuing and remastering some of those classic Gothic slam records?
We actually were in talk with a label, and we're definitely going to do it. I'm definitely going to reissue them. Actually, I'm going to try to reissue them by Thanksgiving of this year. I'm talking to 2 labels right now. I've talked to a couple of guys. Unfortunately, my guitar player, one of the reasons why I played drums, his name is Claudio Gonzalez, passed away this year from complications of his liver. And he was a fucking amazing guitar player, an amazing person. And we were super close. Like I said, when I was 16 years old, we were jamming as a kid. And he taught me a lot, how to play bass and rhythm and stuff like that, and how to keep timing. And, I had the bad news a couple of months ago, 2.5 months ago, that he passed away. And that was fucking completely gut-wrenching. But, you move forward, and you just keep all the good memories, and you're appreciative of the time that you did have on this earth with that person. And that's all you can do.
Yeah, sweet, mate. Yeah, and just a bit of a different question about the music industry in 2017, or bands that are in the music industry in 2017. Of course, we're in the age of metalcore and deathcore. You guys plough a decidedly different field of metal. What's your take on all of those core prefixed genres? Because you've certainly shared a lot of bills with them over the years.
I respect music, and a label's a label. Let's just be real. Labels are given to bands, and for whatever reason, whoever gave them that label, I mean, to me, it's like, who works hard and who's honest with their music. You're coming to a day and age with bands where fans are extremely, extremely smart, and they can see the bullshit coming from a mile away. If they know if you're a fake motherfucker and you're trying to fake music, they can see it and they can sense it, and then that man will fail for sure. And when you are real and you are real to the cause, what you're trying to do, and you love what you're doing, and you're doing it not because you should be doing it, but because you want to, I think fans adhere. That's why I think that we've had such great success with El Nino. And then more notably so, I mean, we moved up the ranks quite quickly with Terror Universal. Because we're honest. We're doing this because we love to do it, and we're coming here to fucking crush. We're not coming here to wiggle around and pretend that we're having fun. We're actually legitimately having fun. We're gonna rage with all these fucking crazy maniacs and get some crazy bits going.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get your drink spilled, man. That's my job.
Yeah, that's a good way of bloody looking at it. Yeah, get people to bob their head a little bit. And the other thing that I appreciate about the bands that you've been a part of, they're all fun. They don't, whilst there's a serious element, I think the serious element is about taking the music seriously, but it doesn't seem like you take yourselves too seriously at the same time. That includes Soulfly and M.O.D. in particular. So let me ask you a question about M.O.D. That was Method of Destruction, of course. God, I've got a bit of a mental blank here at the moment, but was that Billy Milano's band?
Yes, that was taken off S.O.D.
S.O.D., sorry.
With Charlie and Benanti and Scotty and of Anthrax. Yeah, and he started M.O.D. Method of Destruction. And I joined them in 1992 through 96, and I did the first record I did with them was a Rhythm of Fear record. Then I moved down to did the Evolution record, then Loved by Thousands, Hated by Millions, and then Dictator Aggression. I did all 4 records for with Billy, and they were amazing records. It was just it's a great to be part of all that. I also played in a hardcore band for about a year called Marauder.
Yeah, from New York, I think they are, aren't they?
Yeah, it's been say it again?
Are they from New York?
Yes, they're from New York.
Okay, yep. No,
it was totally amazing tour.
Geez, you've done a lot. Yeah, working with Billy, what was that like?
Oh, he's very smart about his business, and he definitely was a great frontman. He was hilarious to watch, and it was good times. Between '92 and '96, we had a lot of success with the band, and but I moved on and joined Propane after that. I wanted to be in a band that was going to tour more, and M.O.D started touring less and less as it progressed from Rhythm of Fear to De-Evolution. We did a couple of European tours and stuff like that, but then started slowing down, and I needed to be active and I needed to be busy, which I always have been in every band that I played in. And in Propane, I got a call from Rob Machete, the bass player of Propane.
Yep.
At the time. He was actually the bass player in Method of Destruction. And
was
he had called
in,
me, hey man, we are...
Was he also in Crumbsuckers?
No. The bass player from Propane is a singer in Propane. But he was playing bass in M.O.D, and he became the guitar player in Propane.
Okay, gosh, yep.
And about a year before I left M.O.D, and so he basically called me and says, hey man, I'm not playing bass with Propane, but I'm playing guitar in Propane, and we're looking for a drummer. We are replacing our drummer, and I think you should join the band. And I said, well, are you offering me a spot? Do you want me to try out? He goes, no, fuck that. We're offering you a spot. There is no tryout. And so, I left M.O.D. I had been kind of on my way out anyway at that point. And I started with Propane, and we toured our balls off. We went to Europe so many times, America over and over. We did just tours with a fuckload of bands and a bunch of festivals. And it was good times. It was actually a great experience with the band. Gary Metzler is a very, very smart individual when it comes to business. I would be alive to say if I didn't learn a couple of business pointers from him. Again, he's a great businessman, and at that point, I was just, absorbing and learning the business. Not only do I play drums in El Nino and Terror Universal, but I actually manage both bands also. I manage Terror Universal and El Nino. Right. And I had a management company called CIA Management since 2007. I manage both bands and another couple other bands also on the roster. But yeah, man, I can't wait to get back to Australia. That I'm pumped about more than anything.
Yeah, sweet, mate. And I'll just ask you a quick question about your managerial skills there. I think a lot of people who are just fans of music, particularly a lot of younger people, they don't know any better, but I think sometimes there's the impression that playing music is just about playing music. But I would imagine that the ratio between, if it was on a scale of 100%, 30% of it would be playing music, and 70% of it for your good self would be looking after the business aspect.
Yeah, it's the music business. The music does not live without the business, and the business does not live without the music. And they both feed off each other, like I said before. And it's important that you keep your eyes peeled and you pay attention to detail for both aspects, because, you can't go on tour without knowing your business, and you can't go on tour without having a great record to go on tour with and promote. So you just have to be aware that they're both equally important. A lot of people get caught up in the whole I'm an artist thing, and yes, you need to be an artist. You need to write some great records, and you can't rush music. But at times there is deadlines and there's finances involved, and you need to abide by that, and you need to use it in your favor. Sometimes, labels putting pressure on a band, like, hey, I need the materials, I need the record, I need this, I need that. And bands get kind of pissed off, like it's the band versus the record label. But if you kind of look into that and you understand that the label's asking you for these materials, they want to promote your band. They want to promote what you're doing, to have ample time to be able to break the band. And so I think that up-and-coming bands and new bands need to kind of see that. You need to pick a team that you're happy with, and you need to actually open your eyes and be patient and also absorb that somebody. A lot of times, I'm 49 years old, man, and I still learn every day. I think that for somebody to be close-minded and say, hey, I'm done learning, I know it all, then you're full of shit and you're a fool. That's not the way life is. No, especially in this business. It's ever changing. It's ever fucking changing. Every week there's something new. First it was illegal downloading. Now it's streaming, and it's gonna get worse and worse. It's never gonna get better. But I look at the positive aspects. A lot of people are like, oh, fuck being in a band, or fuck doing music for a living. Everyone's stealing music, all the pirating, and all the streaming. You're not getting paid. Well, then you adjust. You adjust to that, and you tour more often, and you do smarter tours, and you do, other things that you can promote your record. You utilize, digital age in your favor. Worry more about videos and worry about keeping your fan base informed. Post every day on Instagram, post every day on Facebook, post every day on Twitter, and get your shit together instead of sitting there and point the finger why you're not being successful.
Yeah, mate, I'll tell you what, John's just given me a heads up that I need to wrap up the call because somebody's trying to talk to you, trying to call you and ask you all these wonderful questions about your Australian tour. And I think I can say this. He's told me...
I just want to say I can't wait.
No worries. John has asked me to tell you to say, fuck you. So there you go. I hope that's an inside joke.
Oh, he's just jealous. He's just jealous that I don't give him the time of day. Tell that I said, fuck you too. Love you too. Fuck you too.
I will, man. I'll text him back. Yeah.
Besides all that, I just want to say, let everybody know, man, that we're coming and that we cannot wait. El Nino and Terra Universal are going to fucking tear the roof off all these places. And Australia, here we come next week.
Mate, it's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed this chat. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Hopefully I'll get to see you at the show.
Absolutely.
Please come by, say hello.
Will do, mate, for sure.
Thank you.
Catch you, mate. Bye.
You've been listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast series, and my name is Andrew Mackay-Smith. The interview subject you just heard from was Dave Chavarri from the outfits Il Nino and Terra Universal. Thanks so much for listening.